Hello. We're mixing stuff up today. So here's the deal. I am trying to fix my sleep schedule and I'm failing miserably. No, I have not edited anything yet. My intuition won't let me. And when I try, it messes up my sleep schedule. You know how when people are overworking, spirit will like give them a cold or something to make them slow down. They've kind of done that with me. I don't know why, because I would really like to be editing, but I just can't when I don't have any sleep. It takes a lot of focus normally with my ADHD, and I usually, the first thing that happens when I get like tired and I'm not sleeping well is I get a headache, and then like I can barely do something like fun. So doing work is out the window. But I'm being nagged in the middle of me staying up to try and fix my sleep schedule. I had it together for a little while and we messed it up. I'm being nagged by spirit to do a reading, but I'm too lazy. I literally, I'm not even gonna say lazy, I don't have the energy to set out my decks. So what I'm going to do is I'm starting with the Night Shadow Oracle and my favorite tarot deck, and I'm just gonna read, and if we need more, I'll pull out decks as we go, because I don't know what they want. I usually like to have the decks out because it makes things faster, but you know, I can't. We're gonna see what happens. My lamp right here is usually on as well, but my eyes are a little bit sensitive from staying up all night, so like with it on, we have this, and I feel like you can see, you know, there's plenty of daylight. I have the window right there. You'll be fine. God, I hope you're fine. Actually, I haven't recorded in a few days because I've been also trying to fix my sleep schedule. But I was trying to enjoy, well, not try to enjoy, I was trying to give my brain something to occupy it that wouldn't take up too much energy. So I was on TikTok and I kept seeing tarot readings, which is usually a sign for me that I need to do one. When I start getting tarot reading live stream after live stream after live stream, you know, I know how to take a hint. Let's see what's coming out. Oh, Page of Swords. It's really interesting. I saw a meme the other day. I don't even know how to explain it, because how do you explain a meme? Especially a single image meme, but it was basically saying how the Page of Swords thinks it's the King of Swords, like you think you know everything and you really don't. And you have the Chariot. We have Five of Swords and the Queen of Swords in advance. Ooh, somebody's a little bit too big for their britches here. This is you wanting to rush forward into something. Thinking that you're the Queen of Swords, but you're not. You're the Page. You're still figuring it out. And because we have the Queen here and not the King, it's probably something to do with emotions. Self-worth, someone's self-esteem is being affected. Acceptance, receive what comes in without judgment. And complacency, somebody's becoming a little bit too comfortable. Is that not what I just said? Too big for your britches. With acceptance, I'm going to kind of put this on top because I kind of see that as like the read for this reading, that I might drag you a little bit. But please receive what comes in without judgment. If it sounds like I'm being hard at you, no. Okay, so I'm just going to stop this right here. If I feel like a little bit of draggy energy coming into this, like dragging somebody for filth. If you relate to these things, I would accept what comes in without judgment. If you feel like I'm dragging you, I'm going to give you a little bit of tarot reader tea here. I cannot read about anything that I haven't experienced. So if you are on this channel, please don't take that as like a, oh, if you're doing a reading, then I know what's going on your life. Because yes, sometimes that's true, but most of the time you have to go through things, like be at the other end of them to have the wisdom of it. So oftentimes when I'm reading about something, I'm describing an energy that I've been through, that spirit put me through, so that I can then have the words and give somebody else the same guidance. So if you feel like you're being dragged, it is not coming from a place of me thinking that I'm better than you and I have to lecture you. That's not what it is. It's me with empathy, understanding where you are and also understanding why you are right there and what's holding you there, and that it's not as easy as I'm making it sound. With self-worth and complacency, no, they're telling me to pull another card. But I feel like this is what the issue is. I don't think your self-worth is low. I think that it's good, high. They told me, corrected me. Your self-worth is high, and it is higher than it used to be, but it's still fragile. If I put this in the context they're giving me, which is if it's about love, it doesn't have to be, but that's the example they're giving to me. Then it's almost as if like you are healed from past trauma or a past bad relationship, right? And you're getting ready to jump into a new one. And Spirit's like, you are in fact healed. You know what I mean? Like you are doing a lot better than you've done before. But if you are jump head first into a new relationship and are relying on your self-esteem to be structurally sound, it's not quite yet. And what I mean by that is, like, imagine if you're just giving me like scenario after scenario. And when I give scenarios, don't take the scenario, take the energy that I'm trying to describe, please. But like if you are someone who does sports, because the Olympics is going on, let's do that. If you're someone who does sports, right, and that's your thing, is you do sports professionally. So say you have a really big injury, right? Like, I don't know, you break your leg and then your leg has to heal, but you also have to work on building the muscles back up in your legs. Once the bone is healed, you then have to get your leg back to the strength it was at before. And your leg is getting there. It's strong and it's stronger than it used to be. But they're like, if you go back into competitions right now, one injury is all it's going to take you all the way back to square one. It's almost like your leg is healed, but you're not back to where you used to be or where you should be, because I don't even want to use used to be. I think you may be underestimating your own resilience. You have the strength. I don't think you have the muscle resilience, like the emotional muscle resilience. And with complacency here, that's what it is. You're getting a little bit too comfortable. It's like maybe, if you broke your leg, you've been out of competitions for a really long time. And so you've kind of forgotten how much it takes, or the strain that whatever you're trying to do takes on you. So you get a little bit of your strength back after being put in a cast. Maybe being able to run a mile feels like the end of the world to you, or you're running like 12 miles, but you're like, you used to be able to do 15 and not break a sweat. They're like, you're at 12 and you're like, oh my God, a couple months ago, I couldn't even walk. This is so great. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And Spirit is just like, hold up, hold up. Please slow down, is what they're telling me. And don't worry that you're going to break your leg again. They're telling you they're not even going to let you do that. And I started this off by saying that, like, I know Spirit is like slows me down when I'm, working too much. Because everything, once I hit record, I'm already, it's already started. Everything that I say in the intro always ends up, mattering, because it's all channeling. Ooh, I just lost my train of thought. That's crazy. I hate when they brainwipe me. Regain my train of thought. Nope, it won't come back. They're saying move on. Okay, all right. I'm not mad at it. If it's important, it'll come back to me. Conscious beliefs, be aware of what you are telling yourself, and gratitude, be thankful for what is. They're really pulling me towards this gratitude card right now. Again, with acceptance, is that the best way to manifest the next step is to be happy with what you have. And that's something I was actually talking about yesterday on my Twitter, which I will link below if you want to follow me there. Most of it is not tarot related, but I do tend to channel when I'm writing. So maybe there'll be something for you there. The Emperor. Being thankful for what is. You can, that's what they were saying a while ago, is that there's a little bit of concern here that if I tell you, like, you're getting too big for your britches, and there's that immediate need to go, oh my God, I need to slow down, know that this is not one of those readings where you need your free will. This is not the energy of them being like, hey, we need you to slow yourself down or something, else something's bad is going to happen. This is more like if you are the person with a broken leg and you're trying to get back into competitions and you end up, you know, like, oh, I just, you know, I can't seem to make it to my competitions, or I keep, you know, entering and they keep falling apart. Like if things are falling apart for you and you're trying to move forward, they're falling apart because spirit is doing its best to, basically they're saying, we're not going to let you mess this up. We are not telling you what you need to do to not mess this up. We are explaining what we're doing and why we are slowing you down, because this is the energy of someone who is being slowed down. It's a divine detour. Oh, okay. You really wanted to come out. And here's the King of Swords in the upright position. I think it's time for me to grab another deck. What deck do you want? I want my animal kind of oracle. I love a good oracle deck, and I especially love an animal oracle. It's kind of like this is where they're taking you to, this Emperor energy and King of Swords energy. I don't feel the need to explain the Emperor. You know what an Emperor is. It's almost like an Emperor can have a really, really great empire that works really well. What will be the Emperor's undoing is trying to expand too much too fast. You get, you know, I want more territory, you get into wars, and then you've sent a thriving kind of society that you've built into wartime and ruin everything that you've worked for. They are trying to bring you into the proper Emperor energy, which is the Emperor that knows when it's time to expand and knows when it's time to use what he has. There's some fine tuning that needs to be done here, is what they're giving me. Like, you get an upgrade, an advance, a boost in some area of your life that you're excited about, right? And then it's like you want to jump into it and go, okay, so now I got that one upgrade and I'm getting it. Now I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do that. And they're like, no, perfect what you have and then move on to the next thing. Because if you're not perfecting and building a stable foundation, it's like if you're building like a really big tower, you have to make sure that the bottom floors are sturdy. And when you go to the next floor, make sure that's sturdy, and then go to the next floor and make sure that's sturdy. If you get obsessed with trying to build a tall tower, you may get it really, really tall, but you've been cutting corners and rushing things and focusing on how tall it is instead of how strong it is. And then you get to the top, you have the biggest tower in the world for like 5 days and then it collapses. What's the point of that? They're like, if you're patient and you fine tune every step before putting more on top, you'll get a lot farther. There's like a sense of frustration here that I feel like you're not making the progress you want to make, and you're maybe taking it on yourself. Like, you know, I'm getting like this mantra of like, I suck, I should be doing it better, I don't understand why I can't get this done. Know that spirit is slowing you down intentionally for your own good. For your own good. They understand the excitement. Know that any detours or delays are not happening to you, they're happening for you. In order for it to go well, it has to happen at the right time. And you don't know the right time, and they can't explain to you what the right time is. It's a little bit too big. It's too complicated. Thank you. Hey, you wanted me to grab this deck, and now you're not giving me any cards. I'm gonna grab one from the top and one from the bottom. Intelligence in reverse. Oh, I almost forgot. Pick from the top. And play. I got these two in, I think it was the last reading. Maybe that's what's going wrong. I think you're sucking the fun out of it. You're getting too caught up in the logistics in the final product, and you're missing out on the fun because it's supposed to be fun. It could be the energy of maybe you get like a little bit of progress, you start trying to monetize things immediately, and they're like, listen, slow down, because if you're going to burn yourself out. This is burnout energy. This is what they're helping you. And I can speak from experience with this because I have ADHD, I hyperfocus, which is when people with ADHD get really into something, and then we'll like, basically like, I'll pick up a new video game or a new hobby, and then I'll do nothing but that hobby for like a month. And then I'm like, I'm sick of it. I've done too much of it. And then I won't touch it again for 3 years. This is something that you want to be doing. What's the word? Please help me find the word. Consistently. And it's not going to be consistent if you do too much too fast. You're going to burn out on it. It'll become boring. You'll get sick of it. Maybe try and push your skills too fast and get disheartened with the lack of progress that you're making when you're just moving at a regular speed, but you want to be going faster. They're slowing you down on purpose. We have rejection fear, oversensitivity, being abandoned or rejected. Wounds, childhood trauma affects this relationship. And self-awareness, be conscious of your own behavior. I think that if you got what you wanted right now, it would fall apart. And I think that would be devastating to you, which is why you're not having it right now. And that can go, they're telling you that goes for many things. I feel like a general feeling. I don't think this is one thing. I think this is a general feeling of feeling stuck, or like your progress is really, really slow. It's going at exactly the speed it's supposed to. You're doing perfectly. Your only issue is that you feel like you're not going fast enough. You feel like you're failing, and you haven't failed anything yet. Yet. That's so ominous. I don't mean that. You won't fail. They're not going to let you. Let's see what else I got. That's a lot. I will not be taking all of those. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, but does it really matter? If you don't care, it's because it's not supposed to. This is the energy of surrender. Trust that your spirit guides, ancestors, deities, universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is on your side. You have an entire team, or, you know, the world on your side. I just saw a butterfly looking out the window. Omen. The universe is conspiring to make you succeed. You don't have to do as much work as you think you need to. And I mean that literally in this moment. You don't have to, when you're pushing yourself and going, I should be doing more work, you don't really need to be doing all of that work. You need to be focusing on the things that you can do, because the universe has given you the energy to do exactly what you want, what you need to be doing, and not any more. So if you feel boundless energy, there's lots to do. If you feel very low energy, it's because there's not a lot to do. Giving you just enough energy to do what you want to do. Trust that sitting around and watching TV, if you're doing that and being present in it, you're going to get messages, you're going to get growth. Everything you do, every moment that you're alive, you're learning and growing and changing. What you think of as productive is very limited. Resting is productive. Vegging out is productive. Playing video games is productive. Doing something senseless is productive. Wasting time is productive. If you have yourself on the frequency of trying to learn from every experience, even the meaningless ones, quote unquote, you will learn from. Trust that they've got you. Don't force yourself to do more work than you want to do, because what do I always say? If you don't know what your intuition is telling you, ask yourself what you want to do. That is it. If you feel like I should be doing more work, but what you want to do is play video games, I'm going to keep using that because I love playing video games. It keeps coming to my mind. What you want to do is play video games, then play the damn video games, because that is your intuition telling you to play video games. And if you want to do it and it doesn't make any logical sense, it is definitely your intuition, because intuition and logic are opposites. If it's logical, it's probably not intuitive. It doesn't make any sense. If you have piles of work to do and all you want to do is sit and binge something on Netflix, do that. I'm telling you, you're going to get more out of it. Even if the only thing it does is save you from burnout, which, as someone who is healing from burnout, I can tell you that burnout, do you know how many careers? They were not the correct careers for me, and I see that now. But okay, I'm a very fast learner, Virgo. Fast learner, attention to detail, meticulous, and I care a lot about things, which means that me as a person, I have one of those personality traits where I could do very well doing a lot of things. I have had many careers that I could have. They're not right for me, so that's the disclaimer. They were not right for me in ways that I see now, but I could have done really well in them. What stopped me was that I did too much, too fast, and burnt out, and then had to evacuate because I had built an entire framework of workflow, bad habits, high career standards that I couldn't maintain. A really good example of that is that I used to be a dog groomer, and I was such a good dog groomer that I ended up being a salon manager and promoted way earlier than anybody I ever know being promoted. I went too fast, too far, and burnt out. I'm glad that I did it because I would rather have been a manager in 2 years of grooming and realize that it is not the career for me than done it slowly over 8 years of grooming and realizing that it isn't the career for me. So maybe you've done things like that, but now you're in a phase in your life where the careers that you're choosing, the hobbies that you're choosing, the people that you're choosing, you want them to stay. And the way you get them to stay is to not rush them because you have the correct things now. Spirit is not letting you fast track the process to burnout because you're not supposed to burn out this time. Let them handle it. They got you. You're good. You have nothing to worry about. I'll take these. The answers you seek are already on the way. Keep your eyes open. And you know how I just said if you want to play video games, this and that are true in reverse. You want to play video games, you will find something in the video game that's poignant. And, you know, especially if you're consuming art, which is what most of our pastimes are, watching TV, reading books, stuff, playing video games. Those are all art forms. There's a lot of meaning and a lot of depth and a lot of self-reflection in consuming art or making art. And I'm using the term art loosely as someone who builds houses in a video game. I consider that art. You still have some childhood trauma to heal, some more self-worth growth to do. And the answers are on their way. You ever like start thinking about like, oh, you know, I didn't have the best childhood, and then you'll watch a movie, and in the movie there's like stuff that like really hits the nail on the head. This is kind of like the scenario they're giving me. By relaxing and not pushing yourself too far, you're gonna get a lot of self-reflection, and it's self-reflection time. There's some things you need to think about right now. You want another one of these? I want to know what are you doing well right now? What are you doing really well right now? They said pick from the bottom again, which is important because picking from the bottom are things in tarot traditionally, it's what you can't see. So when I said, what is this person doing really well right now? We've already established that you feel like a failure, so it's going to have to be something that you don't notice. They'll tell me when to stop shuffling. Just be patient. The thing that I worry about the most when I'm recording, honestly, is how long it takes me to shuffle sometimes. Because I feel like it's just, I know, oh, 3 from the bottom. Okay. I know it's not that long. But when I'm anxious about things taking too long, like awkward silences feel like lifetimes to me. So I'll sit there and shuffle, and I'm like, this is taking like, it's been like a minute. They're probably bored, you know. Inspiration with the peacock. Mystery, the cat, and frog with the healings, which you're doing really well right now. And none of these have anything to do with work. Trusting the process. This screams self-esteem to me, like about your physical image. I think there's something about your physical image that you're accepting, because this is not like, oh, I want to lose weight, so I'm working really, really hard. This is, I've always wanted to lose weight my entire life, and I'm just now retraining my brain as to why that is, why I feel like my body is wrong, and learning to love the body that I have. This is specifically self-esteem, and this is accepting, seeing the beauty in what you already have instead of clamoring for more. And that's also very healing for you. I want to clear the table real quick. Be patient with me, sorry. This is more of a mess than usual, because I usually have all my cards in little nice stacks. They're arranged where I want them beforehand, and now they're just a pile off on the side. I want to change topics. So I'm going to go with that. And I want to know why I keep putting my Animal Ken Oracle back in the box if I'm not going to take it right back out. Why did I do that? Oh. Rings on the bottom, creation. I just put it back in the box again. Oh my god. Y'all see, ADHD. ADHD is a curse. I'm gonna do it again if I'm not really careful. What are we creating? At least this way you get to see my fun boxes. This is why I take my decks out ahead of time, because most of these boxes are really pretty, but it's so much work and mess to take them out. That's what I get for being lazy now. Costs me later. But we're still okay. Clarify this creation card, por favor. No, okay. I'll take this. Decision. A decision card likes to come up a lot. Isolation, practicality, caution, riches, and seduction. I found it really interesting. I felt really intuitively drawn to put this in almost like a Celtic cross, which is crazy because I was explaining Celtic cross to someone yesterday. So, hold on one second. I have my tea. I want to grab some. So this is the way that I do Celtic crosses and how it was explained to me. Everybody has their own way of doing tarot. Do not jump down my throat if you do it differently, but this is the way I do it, and it works for me because my cards know that that's the way I do it, so they use my system to explain things to me, if that makes any sense. It doesn't really matter if you do it the proper way, as long as you and your cards are in agreement with the way that it's done. So the way that I explain Celtic crosses is that this card in the middle is the issue. What's at hand, what's crossing it is kind of like what's in the way. Or it can also be like in addition, like this with a little bit of like this is like a subcategory, right? And then starting here, this is the cycle that you're in that you need to break. And when you break this cycle, you unblock this and move on to this, which is the result. Usually there's a whole line of cards here, but I'm taking what they gave me. So with here, I see this creation card is like manifestation. And what's blocking it is something you're trying to manifest, and you don't have the quite literal financial means to do so. And I really do mean financial means, because oftentimes when I say abundance, people take that to mean money. Abundance does not mean money. Abundance is included. Money is included in abundance, but they're not always the same thing. You don't have to have a full bank account to be an abundant person. You just have to have what you need. And what you think you need and what the universe knows that you need are two different things oftentimes. But you feel like your financial situation is what's in the way. And in this case, you are correct on some level. It could just be a stability issue. That's what they're giving me. Cycle you get in is you pick a direction on how you're going to become stable, right? Focus in on it. With the isolation, it's like narrowing things down, like deciding what to do, and then you like a laser focus in. This is like very hyper focus energy with isolation. This is like doing nothing but that thing. This is the burnout I'm talking about, right? And then you get in your head about it. It's like you put a whole bunch of energy into this thing, and then you start thinking, what if it doesn't work? What if I keep going on like this? I've already put so much work into this. What if it doesn't do well? What if? Your logical brain taking over, instead of trusting your intuition. And then you get very worried about if it's not going to work, so you start rushing the process to get where you're going, because at this point of this thing, you just want the final result. You just want it to have it, you know. So if like this is a career you're building, you have a goal. This is you just wanting to get to the goal. You're like, I've done so much work, I'm burnt out, I'm tired of doing work, and I've done all this work, and it might go and it might not go anywhere, and you start to rush it, and then you throw caution to the wind and do something impulsive, which is kind of where you are right now. This is you're somewhere in between these two right now, where it's taking longer than you think, and this may be the point in time where you go, this isn't gonna work anyways, and if it does work, it's taking too long, so I'm going to switch to a different way to make money, a different career path, a different goal, and then you go around in that cycle again. Spirit is interrupting you right here where you would kind of give up and change direction and have to figure out what else you're going to do. They're not letting you rush this, and they're not letting you get too big in your head about it. I do a lot of readings where we're focusing on like more like inner child shadow work type stuff, like dealing with you as a person, what you need to heal, what you're going through, and then oftentimes romance jumps in. If you've watched my videos, you've seen it before. I'll get like in the middle of a reading, and then they'll start throwing out soulmate cards or Two of Cups, stuff like that. So this is where you get when you break this, when you finish this cycle, when you are financially stable, independent, financially independent is also what they're giving me. Then you get that love coming in. But you have to do it. You can't fast track this because it's going to fall apart. You can't fast track it. You can't burn yourself out. You can't change direction. This is what you're stuck in right now. And I'm sorry because I feel like it's really tedious to you, but it doesn't have to be this hard. It doesn't have to be this hard. And they're telling me to clarify the love cards, the seduction card. This is the energy. If there's something that you want, maybe you want a family, maybe you want to live on your own. There's something that if you don't have your money together, it's going to keep falling apart. And that sounds so silly. Trust me, I'm not the kind of person that would be like, oh, if you want love, you have to like make sure they're in a financial situation. But I can speak from experience that I've had very, very loving relationships fall apart because we couldn't get our living situation together, had to live with people who were toxic, and that toxicity aided our relationship from the inside out. Nothing wrong with the actual relationship, but financial constraints forced us to be around people that were not good and healthy. You know, you gotta move where you gotta move, you gotta take the roommates you can take, stuff like that. And then me being an intuitive psychic person who unfortunately I can't help, but I do absorb some people's negativity. Think of it as like secondhand smoke, where if you're not a smoker, you know, because you can block off your energy. If you're not a smoker, if you're not smoking, the secondhand smoke still does damage you, and there's no amount of anything you can do to stop secondhand smoke from not damaging you. Think of other people's bad energy as secondhand smoke. So me being an intuitive, my partner is also really intuitive, and if it didn't get to them, it got to me, and if it didn't get to me, it got to them, and then it would eat our relationship from the inside out because we were getting secondhand smoke from toxic people because we couldn't afford to live where we needed to live. There's a little nugget in my personal life. Hopefully you being vulnerable, sharing personal details. My Scorpio rising hates that. I like to remain mysterious at all costs. I was actually tweeting the other day about how I've perfected the art of oversharing, but I'm carefully oversharing things that I don't really care about. So people think I'm being emotionally vulnerable when I'm hiding like the things that I actually want to keep private. Like, you know, I talk about my car all the time on social media. Well, at least I think I do. I tweet about my car. I have a car, yada, yada, yada. And I will talk about my car and the things that are in my car and where I was driving yesterday. I've never posted a single picture of my car. So you see all the tweets about my car, and it gives off this energy of like, oh, you know, I know them. You know, they always talk about their car. And then I'm like, my Scorpio rising's like, yeah, but could you point it out if you saw it? Do you know what I drive? What make and model? Do you have any idea what it looks like? No? Oh, you don't really know anything about me. It's like best of both worlds. Maybe that was a synchronicity for someone because I just felt the need to go on that tangent about my personal life. But yeah, no, that's the energy that they're giving, is because they don't want you to feel like love and money are tied. But there's almost like an energy of like, let's be realistic, baby. Like, if you want to hunker down with somebody and fall in love and have a family, but you don't have your money together and you're gonna have to live with your dad, who's a raging alcoholic, and try and raise 3 kids in that house because you both don't have your money together. Your relationship is going to be miserable. There's a movie that I like a lot called Becoming Jane, which, to keep it very brief, because I always spoil movies because I over explain them. It's like a period drama about you know, I think it's about Jane Austen. I think that's who it is, the writer Jane Austen. She falls in love with this guy. And she's from a well-off family. The dude is studying to be a lawyer. And he's kind of like going to make a modest living from this job. And they fall in love. And basically, she raises a point in the movie because they're in love and their parents won't let them marry because of their social statuses. And it's like attention. And he's like, true love can, we can run away. True love can bypass anything. And she's like, when we're poor and we have 6 kids and they're starving to death, are you still going to love me? Is it still going to be romantic? No, you're going to hate me and you're going to hate what I did to your life because you have a chance at success. You have a chance to make something of yourself. And right now it seems very romantic, but when all's said and done and, we're destitute, love is going to fade. And that's kind of the energy that they're giving me to this reading of like, you have to be realistic. With the Knight of Wands here, it's like you want to rush straight into love and you have that romantic spirit, which is beautiful, but you also are trying to manifest the love that lasts. And in order to manifest the love that lasts, you have to have your financial situation together, because unfortunately, when you are very intuitive, you can't just live anywhere. I can speak for this. When I have my own space that's decorated, my room has to be clean in order for me to do something. When I was living in places where, because of the people that I live with, my space was not kept clean, it drove me up the wall. It took a really huge toll on my mental health, and then it made it hard for me to maintain my relationships and friendships. I can have as much love for my friends as I want. Those can be really great friendships, but if my space is dirty, I come out of the house with a bad attitude, and then I'm not my best self when I'm with the people that I care about. And that does take its toll. Little arguments and bits and things can erode an entire relationship, at least temporarily. But it can make it to the point where even if you love that person really much, a lot, you guys are not able to be together for your own mental health. And that doesn't go away until you fix the root of the issue, which is your financial stability. And perhaps it's been rocky with your love because you do get in periods of financial stability, and then you get with someone and it's great, and then you hit this part of the cycle and it falls apart. You burn out and you have to quit your job because your mental health's in the crapper. You change career paths because you took on too much too fast and you have to quit jobs. It's like a roller coaster, and they're like, spirits like, we understand, we see this, we put you through that so that you understand how much of a toll it takes. And because I'm getting the energy of somebody who's, like I said, very romantic spirit. You're like me. And I can tell you, when I saw Becoming Jane, when I was like 4 years ago, I was like, no, you could fall in love. I don't understand it. It's a little bit older. I see the wisdom in it because I've been through that. And you're not going to still love them when you're poor. You may, but then there's levels of resentment that are in the way and frustration. Ooh, they just wiped my brain again. Spirit's like, in order for you to have the love that you want, you have to have this. You can't take one without the other. So they're helping you get this one so you can get that one. But to you, it just feels a lot like, being told you can't have what you want. Money runs everything. And I feel like you're not that type of person that you even really care about material things, which is good because that puts you in a good position to have material things and not be corrupted by them. But you do need to have them, hon. You do. And you need to take your time as well. Be very patient with yourself. Do not let yourself burn out, because it doesn't matter. I think with the decision card here, there's a little bit of a feeling that if you find the right career or the right path to financial abundance, then you can just breeze through it. And they're like, it's not the career that's an issue. The issue is the way that you go about it. So pick something and stick with it. And be patient with it and allow it to have its highs and lows until it evens out into something stable. Because you hit a low too fast, too hard, you can't handle it, and then you have to back out for your mental health. They're trying to help that not happen. So if you feel like you're being held back, you feel like you're being stuck, it's because they're trying to let you mess this up. I'm literally hearing them going, you saying you want love and you want it as quickly as possible. The quickest possible way to get it is the slow way. And if you trip up now, you're gonna have to start all of this all over again. So however long you feel like you've been in this cycle, or trying in this isolation, practicality, in this little area of like trying to build something off the ground, learn new skills, really focus on it, hone the skill. As much as you feel like you've been in this phase, they're like, if you rush it right now, you're gonna have to start all the way from square one. So while it feels like they're slowing you down, they are trying to expedite it as much as possible for you. And they're telling me to be quiet. So we're gonna close out. We're gonna get to the end of this, and I'm gonna give you some oracle cards, some advice. Advice and affirmations for my peeps. You gotta keep y'all on your toes. I told you guys I'm a chaos switch. I never do things the same way at the same time. I would hope nobody ever watches these and goes, oh, look, the cards dropped. They're gonna pick those up. Nope, not always. I don't always pick them up. Only sometimes. I don't have any hard rules for anything that I do. Oh. Open to infinite possibility, and now is a lucky time. And they want one of these to go with it. Balance, inner harmony, energetic equilibrium, and affection. Someone wants to give you physical attention. My advice, affirmation for you. Consider that the difference between everything going wrong and everything going right is your perspective. If you start to look at your life from the perspective that the universe has your best interests in mind, that every setback is for your own safety, that every rough day is a necessary evil, you'll find the strength. You'll find the strength. They won't even let me leave that. You find the strength to get through the bad days if you accept that they wouldn't be bad if they didn't have to be. It's not as hard as you want to make it. Ask yourself when things go wrong, are you upset because they're wrong now? Or are you really just upset because you think that it being wrong now is going to mess up the future? If you take out the possibility that the future can be ruined, how does that change your perspective on today? And with that, I think we're done. That was pretty short. Look, we kept it under an hour. As usual, I have my social media links below. The names of the decks that I used if you didn't see them on the boxes. Except for this one. This one's my deck that I made by hand. I always at the end like to remind you guys that this is my day job. This is all that I do, so I do have links to donate. It's the best way you can possibly support me if you don't have money to donate. Like, share, support, subscribe, turn notifications on, all of that stuff. You're this far on YouTube, you know how YouTube works. I don't really need to explain it to you. I just like to remind you because I find that when I'm reminded, I actually go and do it. I hope that you're feeling okay. I hope you rest up. I hope you do something that you enjoy. And I hope you have a good day. I hope that this helped and you feel lighter than you did before you started watching this video. Have a nice day. See you in the next one.